Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Sam Evans and this is the Electric Singularity. Now, if you weren't already aware, Chinese auto company BYD has recently announced the EA1, which is their new hatchback. I believe this is the vehicle that will change the entire automotive industry. Now, the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y are both extremely important for the industry. However, the EA1 will be the car that changes the game. BYD had the capacity to build a lot of these cars because they also manufacture batteries. They manufacture the Byd battery, which is a high quality battery that I believe will provide BYD with the ability to charge a very low rate, a very low amount of money for their cars. Now, they've announced that they will be selling the BYD hatchback in Australia for around about $30,000. And that would equate to a price of less than 25,000 US dollars. Now, as cars in America are actually always cheaper than they are in Australia, you may see this car, BYD EA1, come in at well under 25,000 US dollars, which would be a complete game changer. Now, BYD has also had huge sales numbers for their other EVs recently in China. They're a company that I recommend you invest in, or at least pay note of and do some research on. Now, on the channel, over the next few weeks, I'll be releasing a series of videos about BYD. Not many people know a lot about them. Warren Buffett actually owns a 10% stake of BYD, and for good reason. Buffett is a smart investor. In fact, he's the greatest investor of all time. Why did he invest in BYD? Well, I'm going to talk more about why he did that in future videos. However, keep in mind, if Buffett owns 10% of the company, then it's definitely worth looking into. And then they're not some niche player. They actually build more than 10 different electric vehicles across a huge number of segments, including buses, trucks, all kinds of vehicles. They're a very accomplished electric car manufacturer. However, at this point, they don't sell a whole lot of electric cars. They haven't really focused on passenger electric cars. They've focused on a million different things, including manufacturing batteries, manufacturing parts for electric cars, selling those batteries and parts to other manufacturers, and a whole range of things, including plug-in electric vehicles, ICE vehicles, other things, other electronic machinery, etc., etc. Well, now I believe BYD are taking more of an interest in dominating the EV market. Now, maybe they won't dominate the market. However, I believe they'll take a large share of the market and they will be instrumental in the bankruptcy of some of the world's biggest current automakers, including, I believe, sounds crazy, I know, Toyota. However, we'll talk about that later. To the video. BYD doubled their plug-in sales in March 2021 to over 23,000. The Han D1 and the new Quinn Plus DM PHEV are the most popular BYD plugins. In March, BYD sold about 23,386 plug-in electric cars, which is another good result, up 99% year over year, although not as good as 2019. With the new Byd battery-powered models in the ramp-up phase or in the pipeline, we are sure that 20,000 plus a month is just the beginning of something much bigger for BYD. In fact, I can see BYD selling up to 50,000 a month by the end of the year. Let's recall the newly announced e-Platform 3.0 and the EA1 model. BYD car sales breakdown. Battery electric vehicles, 16,301, up 56% year over year. PHEVs, 7,085, up 433% year over year. Now, I believe BYD plan to focus more on fully electric vehicles. They know that that is what the market wants, and that is what they are focusing on. So far in 2021, the company has sold in China 53,380 plug-in electric vehicles, up 148% year over year. Sales by models, month, year to date. Currently, the strongest models in the BYD lineup are all electric and plug-in hybrid. BYD Han, the D1 model envisioned for DIDI ride-hailing, and the new plug-in hybrid Quinn Plus DM. Here is the ranking of BYD sales year to date. The BYD Han EV 8,000, 21,354 year to date. The BYD Han FEV 2,367 over the month, 6,100 year to date. The BYD D1 2,800 over the month and 4,964 year to date. The BYD Quin EV plus Quin Pro EV 1,715 over the month, 4,470 year to date. The BYD Tang FEV 1,360 or 3,688 year to date. Now, guys, I'll shortly have a video about the BYD Tang because this is an SUV crossover or medium SUV style vehicle, which will soon be for sale in many other markets, including Australia, where I believe it will dominate the market on price. Now, as some of you are aware, the MG, the new MG EV vehicle, has recently been released in Australia and sales have been going crazy, which kind of shocked me. Australians are very particular about brand, very picky about brand, and they often buy only on brand alone. However, clearly, there is a huge pent-up demand for affordable electric vehicles. MG is just tapping into that demand, which has proven to BYD they should also sell their vehicles in the country, which I'm very fortunate and great, and I'm very happy that's happening, as I believe it will very quickly change the Australian market. The BYD E2 sold 1,000 over the month, or 2,545 year to date. The BYD EA1 EV sold 926 or 1,780 year to date. The BYD Song FEV 724 or 1,400 year to date. BYD E6 1,030 year to date. The BYD Tang EV 531 or 1,421 year to date. The BYD E3 114 427 year to date. The BYD Song EV 182 or 379 year to date. BYD Song Max DM 77 or 331 year to date. BYD Quin FEV 48 or 284 year to date. And the BYD E1 40 or 229 year to date. Now, guys, remember, many of these models there's not really focusing on. BYD are now beginning to focus more on their electric vehicles, and we'll see as they ramp up battery production, which they are currently doing, they actually have the capacity to build out a lot more EVs. And I think you'll find many of the mainstream car manufacturers won't have the capacity to scale up with their vehicles because they simply won't have the battery supply. And obviously, Tesla and Elon have spoken about this a lot over the last 6 months, just how important battery supply is to be able to supply the number of cars the market demands. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you bring out the most compelling product. It doesn't matter if that product is reasonably priced if you cannot actually deliver those vehicles. And it's very clear to me and to anyone who actually runs the numbers, many other companies, many of the mainstream automotive companies will not be able to supply anywhere near as many vehicles as the market is demanding. Now, I believe BYD has the capacity from the research I've done to supply a huge number of electric vehicles because they manufacture their own batteries. Now, remember, they have over 230,000 employees and they have factories in various countries, not just in China. They also have one in Brazil and in other countries where they also make buses. And that is another area that I believe BYD is looking to expand into. Guys, stay tuned for more videos about BYD models, about new information about the company, and about why I believe you should consider investing in BYD. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.